For today, playing Hellblade 2 and with the RTX 4060. And we'll start off at 1080p at the high preset. And here we go with that. Here we go. Alright, here we are guys, in the actual game. And so far we're sitting in the high 30s and low 40s. In the intro of the game, it fell as low as the mid 20s. But that was for like one scene. And to be fair, it wasn't that bad on keyboard and mouse. It was definitely playable for me. The game isn't super action packed. Like you don't have to do too many inputs. So yeah, it's not a major issue. For the graphics, I see a lot of detail at the high settings, but the game looks muddy and it's lacking clarity. And using DLSS or FSR or any upscaling doesn't really affect it. It looks the same. So yeah, that's pretty much it. In the first hour, the game didn't stutter or lag. It was pretty consistent, again in the mid 30s. So I'll try DLSS with Frame Gen, and if we can't get 60 that way, I'll back out and play at a lower preset and do it all again for 1080p. Yeah, right here guys, we're falling down to the low 30s and the high 20s. So yeah, in the intro was far worse. It fell into the mid 20s for a bit. But yeah, expect the 30s and the 40s with this one. Alright, let's pause it here guys, enable DLSS. I'll use the quality preset and let's see how we go. And by the way, for the sharpness, I did disable the auto sharpness setting as well as VRS, which is down here, and it made no difference. It was still having the same issues, so you keep that in mind. So far we gained around 10 FPS in this scene, from the 40s now to the 50s. For the graphics, it's pretty similar to be honest, it's not too different. So in saying that, it is not great. Again, it's very soft looking. Now I do want to see how this looks on the ROG Ally screen, because it is a smaller screen, so it should look nicer and sharper. Okay, I think it's this thing over here, and there's two other pieces down here as well. Yeah, there we go. Here's one of them. There's no hand holding in this game. You do it yourself and you figure it out. There we go. That is the second one done. Alright, here we go. It's time to fight. The fighting is pretty fun. It's pretty basic, but you know. You don't get any help. Boom. There we go. Finally out and about. And we got our true numbers. The low to mid 40s pretty much. It's a very slow game. What do we have here?
Did you think you could escape your past, Senua?
Wow, even the high 30s here, guys. And for the VRAM, we're sitting at 7.7 gigs. This card has 8 in total. And the system RAM's at 16.4 gigs. So not too bad all around. Alright, Frame Gen active, and we're all the way up into the 80s now. And the VRAM is now fully maxed out at 8 gigs. The mass movement so far feels fine. I mean, regardless, the game isn't super action packed anyway, so a bit of input lag isn't going to hurt it too much. Alright, but yeah, above 60 FPS guys. I made a system requirements video on this game, and now I think it makes sense why the FPS wasn't shown, because obviously it will be targeting 30 FPS, I think, for all the cards at this point, because I can't really see 4080 doing 60 FPS in this at 4K max settings, which is a bit sad, but again, it's a story driven game, it isn't super action packed, and with DLSS it will look as good as before and play much better. But still, it's not a good practice to, I guess, rely on DLSS to get 60 FPS. And yeah, at this point, the game is a stable 60, at least for the most part, and the graphics look as good as before. So I think for me, this is fine and definitely usable. So let's back out, play at the medium settings with no DLSS, and see how we go there. Okay, medium settings, again, no DLSS. We'll go with that. There we go. And in this scene, we are sitting in the 40s and the 50s. I do want to leave this area first though and see how far it drops down. So far, it looks as good as before. I guess near as good as before. And it is doing a bit better. It's very dark though, guys. Nope, you're done for, buddy. Sorry. This guy's a snitch. He's pointing at me as he's getting dragged off. So yeah, again, it's the low 40s and the mid 40s, easier scenes in the 50s and the 60s. And with DLSS, we went from sitting in the mid 40s to now sitting in the mid 60s. So obviously with this, it won't be a stable 60 at all. In those heavier scenes, it will fall down into the 50s, or even the 40s. But it should be far more stable than what you had before at native 1080p. Time for a fight again, of course. Let's do it. That guy's cooked. Oh my god. Look at that. Perfect parry. Oh my god. Nice. Wait, who's this guy? Yep, trying to act tough and he just fell off, buddy. Oh, there's more of them. Just give up, please. I've had enough. You're done. And yeah, guys, this entire time, the game has started a handful of times. For the most part, again, it's been very smooth and definitely playable on this card. It all depends on what you want out of the game. If you find with 30 to 40 FPS, then playing a native is definitely viable. But if you must get 60 and above, then Frame Gen with DLSS is needed. Or ideal at least. And with Frame Gen active, we are sitting in the 80s and the 90s. Ideally, I would take away 20 FPS from what you see here, because in those heavier scenes without DLSS or without Frame Gen, we did fall down into like the 50s. And right here, again without Frame Gen, we had 70 FPS. So we can lose around 20 FPS in those heavy scenes. Okay, let's play for a bit longer. And then I'm going to go ahead and back out, play at 1440p. I'll keep DLSS as well as Frame Gen active for that. And we'll see how we go. But yeah, for me, the main issue with this game is the lack of clarity and sharpness, at least at 1080p. So yeah, the safest bet for 1080p is with Frame Gen active, unfortunately. But at least that way you'll get 60 FPS stable the entire time. Okay, let's pause it here, guys. Play at 1440p. Try it again. Okay, 1440p with DLSS as well as Frame Gen active at the medium settings. Try it out. And yeah, FPS wise, guys, in the mid 80s and the mid 90s. It's a nice looking game, but some areas do look pretty bad. And the game is pretty fun as well, to be honest. This entire time, it's been very fun. Personally, I haven't played the first one, but I've heard good things about that as well. So I might pick it up. So yeah, that is Hellblade 2, guys, with the RTX 4060. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Next video. See you guys there.